Perfect. That does. No, that's perfect because I have the microphone on here and I want to make sure we're recording. So whenever you add an image, it shows up as a line of code, which to you might not make a lot of sense because you don't probably know computer programming language. So what you want to do to see what it actually looks like is there's a little button here that says visual. Instead of text, which is essentially code, you click on visual. And what that's going to do is it's going to show you what it looks like on the front page. The image is here, and if you click on it, you can align it to the left, you can align it to the right, just like the here. So assuming you want it to have it in the middle or you want to make it a little bigger, you can kind of just drag the corner and make it bigger. You can delete it if you want from here. You can click on the edit button and a bunch of new features show up. For example, if you want to have the option to click on the image and it takes you to a different page, you can put link to another URL, and you can put, maybe a page that talks about PRM or the power of precision, if that's a brand. So you can maybe explain a little bit further what that brand's all about, or something like that. You have all these options here, and it's once you start creating new pages and things like that. Just like Microsoft Word, you also have the option to highlight certain characters, make them bold with the B button. You can italicize text with the I button. If you wanted to start a list of bullets, you have the option for a bullet list or a numbered list. And literally what you start creating here as a web page. So I'm just going to show you an example. I'm going to publish this page here in a second after we add a few other things. You can also, of course, align text in the middle instead of aligning it to the left or right using these options that Microsoft Word has. And you can also create a link by highlighting text and clicking this paperclip button. If you just enter the URL of the page that you want it to link to. For example, if you want it to link to the gallery, you take that URL, copy, and then enter it here, hit the apply button, and now you've got a link inside of the content. So this is basically how you would create a new page on your website if you ever needed to, for any reason at all. And if you wanted to, like the gallery, start creating categories, for example, a category for events or a category for specific things, you can utilize this section on the right to do that. It helps users be able to find different categories on your blog better. For example, we have categories for social media marketing, email marketing, and whenever we write a blog post that's related to marketing in general, if it's about email, we'll use the email marketing category. So basically on the front of your website's blog, people can see the different categories and they can start to drill down. You may not need that, but it's an option. Otherwise, just leave it blank, and that's not going to affect anything. Once you're done with the content and the images and you like it, there's one other thing you can do. You could change the URL if you want to. It usually just takes what's in the title and applies it to the web address there at the end. So that's how you would access the page with this web address. Only thing you have to do is click publish for it to be accessible from the web. And you can schedule it if you'd like by clicking the publish immediately edit button and putting a scheduled date here to publish it. So I'm going to publish it now, and essentially it's going to allow me to show you what that web page looks like on the front end after it's published. Just takes a second here to load it up and get it ready for the front end. Let's go ahead and cue the Jeopardy music. All right, here we go. So now that the page is published, see here it says post was published. You can view the post, and I'm going to open this up on a new tab so we can come back to it. So essentially, here's the post. It says when it was published, and it shows the category, who the publisher was. We're going to create usernames for everybody, so whoever publishes it will say published by. And basically, you have the content, the image, the bullet points, and everything that I was showing you before, ready to go on this blog post. it's not supposed to look pretty right now. I just filled it up with content, but essentially if you wanted to add a nice bigger image, some texts, and do anything promoting some sort of event or anything on your website, you can easily do that now like a Word document, and it's going to have the logo at the top and everything else towards the bottom that your website already has. Comment section, because more often than not you just get a bunch of people with spam posting, trying to promote weird things, and it causes more harm than good. So I'm going to recommend we get rid of that. If you ever do want in the future the ability for website users to leave comments on your site, just keep in mind you're going to have to regulate them, and it can build up quick, because a lot of these automated programs out there, they're designed to just go and leave comments and put a link to their website, which is basically like a strategy to get more traffic from the internet. So you'll get a lot of that if you enable them. I personally turn them off for all of the websites I work with, and there's no harm in doing so. Well, since you didn't have a blog before, there is no blog link, but we could add one anywhere that there's room. Text link here, or in the top section that says blog, or if you want it to be a little more subtle, not so subtle, you could add it to the bottom. You would have to know the web address. It's not accessible yet. You're going to have to put a link somewhere, either at the top section or the bottom section that says blog, to really find it, unless you share it on Facebook or something like that. And I would recommend perhaps somewhere next to the Facebook and Instagram, because it's kind of like a social media thing. Blogs are technically like content media being shared, and there's really not much room here. We're running out of real estate unless we get rid of the search bar, which I don't think you guys really need a search bar. So maybe what we can do is replace the search bar with a blog link, because otherwise it's going to look a little cramped up here if we add it. We can put a little link up here that just says blog and try and make it a. Yeah, I think that would be nice. In white letters, we'll just put blog in bold white text right there. Sounds good. And as you start to play with the website, if you have any questions at all, just know that we're here to help. But for the most part, it's just going to take a little hands-on practice, kind of trial and error, and eventually, a lot of the things that you've learned from working with Microsoft Word will be applied here. But what I recommend with the blog section, since you never had one before, is just try to come up with like one blog post at least per week, if not per month. Google likes to see fresh content on a website. If you don't add any content to your website every year, and your competitors do, then what's going to happen is they're going to start to show up better on the search results than you guys do, because your content's stale and old, and Google likes to promote websites with fresh new content. That's just the way they are. So if you could perhaps have somebody in the office maybe write about a testimonial or a case study that the client gives you consent to write about, or promote a certain event, or maybe you're joining some sort of board or some sort of certifications obtained and you want to write about it. All this stuff's great because you're putting new content out there, and Google's going to recognize it as something original that DMR Corp created, and it gives value to you. Right now it's empty, so there's no blog here at all until you start utilizing this section. On the right hand side here, it's a little bland because it's basically just showing the default information, which is nothing. There's no categories, there's no recent comments, there's no for you to be able to put here. So on the right hand side of this page where I'm highlighting, what I can do once I get the Facebook access, let me pull up an example. Our blog on our website looks great, and it's the same style, if you will. Let me just pull something up here. Blog. Okay, so these are our blogs, and we just take the time to add a nice big image in the middle. There's content with some bold, larger text to separate the sections. But essentially, it's the same thing yours does. It's a big blog with the ability to write content. Now, instead of having all this template stuff that comes with every blog on the side, we replaced it with some more colorful stuff, like logos to our social media channels, our partnership badge, a little question that says ask the authors a question, and then the social media Facebook widget, which is what we're asking for the Facebook access for. Look a lot prettier, in my opinion. See, here's some of the default stuff that our blog came with, like the tags, where it just shows a bunch of the keywords. But then we also have the Twitter social media icon here, and essentially you could put that here. So I'll recommend putting the Facebook widget. And no, we can do it for you, no problem. I just didn't really get a chance to look at this page yet. We can do it later, but honestly, we can get it done before tomorrow. It's very quick. We just need the Facebook access. Okay, so I'll do the Facebook, and then maybe a little slick little contact form like the one we have, and that'll just say, ask us a question, and then the Facebook widget. That'll take up a lot of space, and it'll look a lot nicer than it does now. But yes, we just wanted to get the main image on the homepage kind of ironed out, and uploading the other gallery is going to be very simple. We'll get that done. One thing to keep in mind that you just brought to my attention, I was going to mention, we do usually, it takes Bluehost or any hosting company about 12 to 24 hours to load up the new website. And you can't have both of them running at the same time because there's only one web address, dmrcorp.com. Plan this out to where as late as possible before we close tonight, we start the propagation, and a couple of hours tomorrow that the website's still propagating in the morning, in the afternoon, worst case. It usually, with Bluehost, they're pretty fast. And in most cases, it takes about 10 to 12 hours. But you do have to be warned and prepared. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be down for much time at all, maybe just a few hours in the early morning time. But I'll keep a finger on the pulse and keep you updated. The colors, the main images for the home page that you want to use are the ones that you want to discard that are on there now, in any direction that you want as far as all the images that you sent and what you want to use. Well, the way this website works, Angel, because it's mobile compatible, it's all dependent upon what size your screen is. So let me show you. If I start to scroll down, let's say I'm coming from a mobile phone, the website looks different. The form comes down here. If I have a normal size like tablet, it's going to be kind of hindered a little bit by the form. And in some cases, if you have a larger screen like mine, it's not. And that kind of is the way Google wants your website to be. For us to go in there and make the image responsive for one view and not the other is not really possible, unfortunately. What we could do is get rid of this form altogether, but having a very easy in-your-face form. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this one, I think that's a great idea, and I think those are probably the best pictures that I would have chosen as well. So we'll go ahead and just keep the first two and add the rest of them to the gallery. Let me just put a note here, first and second one only. For the yellow, we talked about changing it to a blue and changing color, but really it's at this point just kind of, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. What I think looks good might not look good. I think the blue looks good. Personally, I don't think there's anything bad about the yellow, but preference at this point. So we can tinker around with it. Sure. How we do this, I think the important thing is to get the website up to see the marketing effects, and then we can always just try out new colors as we go. Right. As far as the launch, no, not really. I just wanted to show you a couple of other things. When you're logged into the WordPress and you see this black bar showing you that you are logged in at the top of the screen, you have the option to go to any page you want and click the edit page button. So let's say, for example, you change addresses or suite numbers, or you want to add a new email or a new telephone. You just simply load up the page while logged in as an administrator and click edit page. Now, that's going to open up the page very similar to the blog post that we created before, where I was showing you how you can add text and images and all that. Well, this is just like an already existing blog post. The title is called Contact, and you have the same types of things that you did with the example we were going over. Remember how before it was showing text, which is code, visual to show you what it actually looks like. Instead of seeing the code for the image, you see the image now. On the visual tab, you can literally just come in here and add another email if you wanted to by putting this, you know, test@test.com. You can add another phone number by hitting enter and, you know, putting 123 123 124 blah 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 and hit update, and you're good to go. It's going to show on the front end just like that. Simple little changes, you know, that you want to get done right away can always be done with this WordPress backend, and just make sure to hit update, and all that's going to be applied on the front end when you load up that page after making those changes. There are some things that you might want to see, like, for example, if this image you don't like it, you can get rid of it by just highlighting it, click remove, and then clicking on the add media button to replace it with an image from your media library, or selecting the upload images from your computer to upload it there. So pretty plug and play as far as managing the images and the text of your website. The only other thing I would say that you need to learn in terms of being able to manage this website is, if you want to be 100% safe that you're getting all the contact forms from your contact form submission and they're not going to your spam, because sometimes it doesn't matter how good your website is, if your email server is rejecting an email because it detects it as potential spam, it might go to your spam folder, or it might get rejected altogether. Now, if that does happen, you have a fail-safe, which is your contact form database. Anytime your form's filled out, the information that goes in through that form is going to be found in the contact form database. Contact form DB here on the left, and open up the main link here that says Contact Form DB. And as soon as it loads up, it's going to have a little drop down or a list of the forms that you have. think it's just loading. If not, I think we just have to finish configuring this when the site's live on the actual the new site. But essentially, a drop down will come and it'll say choose the form. If you have more than one form, like the one on your home page and the one on your contact page, which are two different forms, you'll be able to choose, which one, and it'll open up a spreadsheet, sort of like an Excel table, where it has the time it was sent on the left and any fields that are on the respective form, like the phone number, the email, and the message. So you have a backup, and God forbid, your email crashes or your email's not working, at least the form information's still here. The salespeople can reach out to the people who are requesting information. Well, definitely there's going to be a lot more potential with the new website. Before we had handcuffs on, we were really restricted. And with this new site, it's limitless as far as what we can do. So I definitely agree. Let's iron out the kinks. There's a few things. A week after the site goes live, I think, maybe a week or two tops, there's probably going to be a couple of questions you guys have as far as the website that we can iron out. And then once everything settles, and the dust settles, so to speak, with the website migration, get to meeting about that. I do need to wait until the site goes live to incorporate some of these reporting features that you guys could start to use with the marketing. That's going to help me do my job better on the marketing side, regardless of if we expand or do more aggressive things. So I want at least a week to be able to handle those changes. Some time to get your team familiar with the back end, as I'm sure they're going to have questions. So Thursday, the 31st. It'd be better if we could do before 2 o'clock. That works. Okay, I'm putting it in my Google Calendar now because I am a Google guy after all. Let's see here, 31st, 1 o'clock. And before you guys go, I do want to show you, or I want to get at least a list of the individuals that need to be added to the website as administrators. Why don't you do me a favor? Could you email me a list of everyone, their full name and their email address, and then I can go ahead live. I'll add everybody. Excellent. Just expect an email tomorrow. Everybody that's going to be on that list, they'll have a welcome message email that says join WordPress or welcome to WordPress. Follow the prompts. There's a link. You can set a new password and basically just keep that username and password. I'll send you the login page. Again, it's just dmrcorp.com/WP-admin. And that username and password that you're going to keep, which is your email, and the password that you set up is what you'll use to log into the website going forward. As far as other things that you want to change on the website, just keep in mind some of them will require our assistance. It's going to be a little bit harder to do things like a new social media icon to the top section of every page, but simply changing some content and text is going to be real easy for you. Just navigate to the page and click that edit page button, and just like we did on the contact us page, it should be very straightforward. Of course, and like I said, I'm sure you guys are gonna have questions. I'll be here. Just send me an email, or this is my cell phone, so you can even text me. I know I'm usually on the road, but I'm here to help during this transition. It's definitely an important part of your business. Yes, I have a couple of things here as far as notes on what I need to do to follow up, and I'm going to execute as soon as we hang up. You're welcome. Have a great one, guys. Bye now.